you are who you surround yourself with. So
How many vendors do you have in your database?
in my personal database, I have over 1,100 vendors. So I am a
Welcome to Victory Voices, where real stories fuel inspiration. This is the podcast where everyday people share extraordinary journeys of resilience, hope, and personal growth. Each episode, we dive deep into the life-changing moments that shape who we are.
This is the Victory Voices, and today we have a beautiful young lady here. And please, you're welcome to the show. May you introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what your story is.
Yes, hello. My name is Courtney Crash, and I am the owner of ATX Thrift, and I am a vendor market coordinator. ATX Thrift is a festival and party wear themed clothing thrift shop where we help support sustainability in fashion. And as a vendor coordinator, I book small businesses to vend at large scale events, and I get to vend with ATX Thrift in the markets that I curate, which brings small business together to help provide lucrative opportunities at large scale events.
Yeah, thank you so much for the great introduction. And I met you, and your story was kind of interesting. Today we face the economic crisis and a lot of economic challenges where we find a lot of young mothers out there struggling to choose either to be mothers or to still be at work and they send their kids to school, or still sometimes it is hard to either find a solution in between. And also at the end they have no choice but to work, and they hope that the child will do well in daycare. How did you manage to do it as a young mother? And how did you manage to even set up a business for yourself? What are the strategies and what inspired you?
Well, my daughter is almost 12 years old now, but when she was much younger, I had a pretty stable career, which was a dental assistant, and it was considered a 9 to 5 job where I would drop my daughter off at a daycare and I would go to work during the day. And when the pandemic hit in 2020, I was furloughed or had unemployment benefits from my job, and we had all the free time in the world with nowhere to go. And I was able to utilize that spare time to dedicate to my passion. And that included selling clothing, but recycled clothing. I had been a part of events that I was collecting clothing for to give away for free. And when we had a lot of free time, I was receiving an influx of donations of clothing. So I was able to take the free time and go and vend at events like markets and supplement the income difference. And that really freed up a lot of my responsibility as far as childcare goes, because I was actually able to take my daughter with me. These were public events or markets that were family friendly, or were on the weekends where she wouldn't have school. So it was really the birth from what is definitely considered a tragic situation with the pandemic that happened in our world. It was something actually positive that came from it, because I was able to utilize the time to dedicate towards my passion, and I was able to sell the clothing that was being donated or that I was thrifting and make a livable income for myself. So I no longer needed to do the 9 to 5. I was able to set my own hours, which freed me up to be able to spend time with my daughter.
Amazing. That's inspirational for the people who are struggling to find what's next to do. Because sometimes when people are used to jobs, job after the job after the job, then even when they have a passion or something that they want to pursue, job makes them forget about it. So you taking the risk of not going back to work, and you want to do it yourself, and you are putting yourself vulnerable because you have to pay the bills. You don't know if you really want to do it as a full time. So how did you really step out and you're like, I'm gone, I'm in? Like, where did you draw the encouragement from?
Absolutely. Yes, I can understand completely how that can be a scary or vulnerable experience to take the leap. How do you do something new without being sure of the outcome? And the answer to that is believing in yourself. You have a passion and follow it. And the way to be successful at doing it is by giving it your all. If you're giving it 50% because the other 50% you're fulfilling with a job that you don't love, how can you be successful at anything that you're not giving 100% of? And maybe you may not have the outcome that you want, but you will learn something from it. And what you learn will help you grow, and that'll help you improve on the next strategy or the next technique to do even better. So some people may consider it a leap of faith. I like to think of it as belief in yourself. I had confidence and knowing that I can do it. And I told myself, and I was able to do it. And I'm continuing to do so. So I would say with any self-doubt that you may have in yourself, you need to release that and believe in yourself and know that you can do it because you are capable.
Wow, that's great. At one point, I'm an entrepreneur too, and at one point, there is a point you reach and you are really broke, and you are even thinking if you're gonna get the next meal. Bills now, you are forgetting about the meal. Will I even make a sale today so I can have food the next day? Then when you have food, then they're like, oh, will I be able? It's the 20th and the month is almost done and I have bills to pay. I have zero balance on my account. Have you ever been in such a situation? Because that's what people are scared about when it comes to being an entrepreneur and risking everything to something. Tell us a little bit more that experience.
Absolutely. I mean, that is a real risk, of course. I have had moments in starting my business or in, being an entrepreneur where maybe I've been working and a few events didn't quite pan out the way I wanted to. So you could start getting into what I consider a scarcity mindset, but it's continuing to push through. You don't give up. You keep trying and you keep putting your effort into it, and you have to know it is going to work out. You can't just give up, because then of course you will not have a lucrative experience. You keep trying and you keep applying.
Great. I think that's amazing. You just answered me. It's all about consistency. Entrepreneurship is about never giving up, never falling, and you wait for someone to lift you up. You have to wake up and keep going. Yeah. At one point to me it's a new thing that recycling clothes and reselling it would be a thing in America, because Americans spend a lot of sometimes they throw away unused items or products, then thinking that someone who might need it, I would generalize, because it's thrown away or someone who never wanted it, donated it, that means no one wants it. So maybe for me, I would say maybe this is not a market for this. So I would rather say, oh, maybe I will find a market somewhere else outside the US. So how did you identify that there is a need for recycling these clothes?
Oh, yes, absolutely. There's a dire need for our earth in general for there to be a more sustainable way for shopping and reducing our waste in general, but especially with fashion waste. You can easily look up the Atacama Desert, which is giant mounds of clothing that is dumped in the Atacama Desert. And this mountain of clothes, unused clothing, is so large you can actually see it from space. It is a severe problem where these toxic dyes and chemicals are leaking into our ecosystem, or these fibers and micro fibers are getting into our water system. So the more that we're able to reduce and reuse our fashion waste by supporting sustainable companies, by recycling our clothing, it makes more of a positive impact in reducing those issues. So I mean, I'm one company doing it, but the more sustainable practices that people have, the more of an impact we can make as a community and a conscious collective.
Wow, that's a great message for the people out there. That's really a good message, yeah. So, well, you started a business. You're now doing well, I would say. What do you think is the future of your business? And do you have a trajectory that you say, this is where I come from, this is where I am, and this is where I'm going? What is the future looking like for you?
Well, I absolutely have a great knack for finding thrifted treasures to resell, and I curate the glam. It's what I call the glam, or the clothing that I find is all very specifically curated for party wear or themed events. So you'll see that in my shop, it's very whimsical, bright, colorful, and fun. So as long as I can continue to source these types of items, I would love to continue to bring them out to events and themed parties. But what I've really been enjoying is the vendor market coordination aspect of my career, where I've been able to, as a vendor, anticipate the needs of other vendors and coordinate bringing us all together to help provide a community or local market feel and help support other companies that are sustainable or handcrafted goods. And so being able to bring together these small business companies and do brand awareness has brought me immense joy, and it has actually helped boost our local economy. So where I see myself with the career choice I've made is really one of two ways. With the clothing, I would like to see that more of an online presence. I believe that recycling the clothing is a desire by many across the globe, and there's not really one source for this particular niche of clothing that I'm doing, which is the party wear. There are websites and apps where you can buy recycled clothing, but specifically to party wear, there's not really one known website for that. So I would like to forefront that and help develop some site where people can come specifically for themed party wear and buy recycled clothing. And on the other side, with the vendor coordination, I would like to do the on-site management and vendor selection for businesses who are applying for really, really large scale events. I mean, I'm talking 100 to 400,000 person events, big festivals where I'm able to help bridge the gap from local companies and smaller companies to have these opportunities in a large scale way. A lot of these events to that degree of size feature companies that are large, and you would go and kind of see some of the same same type of vendor, which some of them are wonderful and they are sustainable in their practices, but I would like to help emphasize more of a small business feel because there's so many amazing local crafters and creators that really just haven't had the opportunity to break through, and having this advocacy for the small business and the capability of connecting them to large scale events. My next pursuit in career passion is to help continue to support small business in a large scale way by booking vendor markets at large events.
Amazing work you're doing for the community. Wow. So I think if we had every community had someone like you, then we wouldn't have these challenges about waste, about clothes, and we wouldn't be talking about these issues about wasteful behaviors, you know, that we have adopted, where we just dress something once or twice, then we throw it away, or we could the mountain you're talking about that is in the desert heap, we call it a heap of clothes. Maybe that could not be a topic now if we had more people. So, what is your message to the young people out there, to the young mothers who are struggling to find a way to break through, or either they are skeptical about taking another job, which they don't like, or trying to do something they believe in, they have passionate about, but they're scared, or they're like, oh, where do I get support? Oh, what do I do? How do I do it? Where do I go to? Who should I ask to coach me? Who should I ask to help me? Because a business, especially in America, it's a very competitive space. Being an entrepreneur is very risky in America because there is high-end competition. You have a million competitors that are selling the same product or that are giving the same service that you want to offer. So how do you, what is your advice and how do you think people should go about it if someone is really want to capitalize on their passion and earn a living around their passion? What do you think their steps they need to take?
Yes, absolutely. Well, if an idea is not shareable, it's dead. So, what we want to do is continue to share our ideas and share them with folks who are like minded. So, for example, with me starting out as a vendor, I joined a market and was able to then be introduced to other vendors and the market coordination. So if you're seeking a new passion, do what you can to ask questions and share ideas and show up in the spaces where your passion is thriving. So if you are somebody that's, really into plants, then you can seek classes in your area. There's even community projects and events where people are gathering, talking about these, or volunteering park days where they're helping, beautify their space. So put yourself out there in the spaces where your interests lie. So for me with vending clothing, then I started signing up for other markets and talking to other people in my business and my passion about ideas and growth. And it goes back to believing yourself, especially as a starting out entrepreneur. You want to make sure that you are really passionate about what it is that you want to do and believe in yourself, and then start by talking to people in your community that are doing what you're doing, especially with clothing. If somebody were to come to me and say, hey, Courtney, I've been wanting to resell clothing, but I don't want to do that because you're doing that. It's an abundant mindset. There is enough to go around for everyone. And the more that we work together as a conscious collective, the more that we can have support as a community. It's a it's a complementary mindset, not a competitive mindset. So when I have people that come up to me and want to learn how to resell clothing, absolutely. I love to share my ideas. I love to inspire and encourage, because that's one more person that is now helping support the sustainability practice that I so believe in, which is reduce, reuse, and recycling of fashion. So when you are interested in something, start reaching out to people that are doing what you're doing, and start asking questions or asking if there's a way you can get involved or volunteer. And these are things that you can do even while you're still doing and holding the job that you normally have. You can volunteer and utilize your spare time following your pursuits and passion until you get in a place where you can be comfortable enough to absolutely give it your all. But when you're faced with the choice of what to do in this off time from your other work, start applying that to the interests and the passions that you have, so you can start gearing your life focused and shifting your surroundings with the types of people that are doing what you're doing. There's another saying I like that says, you are who you surround yourself with. So surround yourself with people that are also passionate about what you're doing, and start getting those ideas shared.
Great. So as we come to the end, as we wind up, because we don't want to be that long, it's good to always share a digestible message, so that after people have time to listen to what you have shared, they also get time to digest. And one thing I know is that anyone who reaches out, you will respond, especially when they use your social media, your business social media handles. I know you are a person who responds, because you either think they are client or they are vendors. So
Yes.
so I know if you see a message from your Instagram, you'll be like, oh, either is a client or vendor. So you just reply immediately. So I know that. So please reach out to her, and we shall share the information. But please go ahead and mention your handles and how the people can reach you out. And the answer, as you close, also answer this question: do you think you will have a personalized brand, or you still want to juggle in other brands, mixed brands, or do you think you are heading to having a personalized brand?
Absolutely. So the easiest way to get a hold of me is through social media. So you can look up ATX Thrift, like a thrift store, on Facebook or on Instagram, and it's at ATX underscore thrift underscore. And I am looking to launch my rebrand in November. I do need to separate these two entities, as I've talked about the reselling of the clothing and the market coordinating. So in November, I will be launching Vibe City Markets, which is how you'll be able to reach me if you are a vendor looking to set up at events local to Austin, or if you would like to reach out to me to do vendor coordination in your area. But currently it is ATX Thrift, soon to be Vibe City Markets on Instagram.
One quick last question: how many vendors do you have in your database?
In my personal database, I have over 1,100 vendors, so I am able to curate any size market, any genre of vendor at any venue across the city.
So I think event coordinators now should start talking to you. Yeah.
100%. If vendor coordinators want help in how to run successful markets and how to build their database, I'm an amazing resource for both vendor market coordinators and vendors themselves. On Instagram, I have the general database application they can join, as well as a compiled list of over 40 markets in Austin seeking vendors for opportunities, which means I'm a free vendor resource and marketing resource for small business.
Okay, thank you, Courtney, for being with us, and we hope to see you in another episode.
Yes. To be continued.
Yeah, we can't wait on the launch of that new branding, of course. Then we see how it is going. Yes. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.